What is up, everybody? How's it going? This is your homeboy, Dog 4. Um, as you can see, I'm in my workout outfit. Still, I have not taken a shower yet. I've done over a little of an hour of training today. I cleaned house all day, pretty much. It was nice out and everything, and I didn't get to spend much time outside, which kind of sucked, but I got a lot of things accomplished today. So it's like I got my training in, I got my house cleaned, I got my. So tomorrow, all I can do is probably relax some, just basically just, relax. Um, basically just, like I said, relax, do a little bit of nothingness, and I might train a little bit, and you know, tomorrow just depends on how I feel. But tonight's training, I did not film it, but I wish I would have. Um, Sometimes I just, don't really like to film a whole lot anymore. It's like on my training, because it's really technically just the same routine, same thing, really. But most of my stuff has progressed, and my strength wise, I do know that. Just to keep on going. But other than that, what I want to talk about is um, I've been reading Bruce Lee's The Toa Of Gung, and it's pretty good for the most part. What I've read of it, I mean, I read it before. I used to own the book, but I had to replace it because the book that I had of it, I mean, the old version of mine that I had, it was worn out, almost torn up, and everything. I mean, I had it for years when the first original copy came out, almost like the first edition of it came out on the shelves. So it's like, so I had to renew it, even though it's not the original version of it, but it still has all the same stuff in it. But what I want to talk about is Bruce Lee stated in his book, martial artists nowadays, a tendency to, say, yeah, you can end up using high kicks in a street fight. High kicks in a street fight. And what I'm saying is that you might be able to use a high kick in a street fight, but 9 out of 10, when you are using a high kick in a street fight, either you gotta be quick on your feet, or two, you gotta have a good background in Taekwondo or kickboxing or something. But the thing of it is, it's just that you needed to, if you're practicing martial arts, and if you're just doing it for self-defense, usually 9 out of 10, the most common area is the low line. What I mean is the low line kicks. Because the way I see that, well, the reason why I say that is because the low line kicking is like the most hardest kick to block. Unless if you know how to do low blocks, and stuff like that, like crouching low to block it or whatever. But the thing of it is, that's the only thing that I could see about his statement on that, is that Bruce Lee made a good statement there in that book, is that, only reason why you see people doing high roundhouses is for showmanship and and you see it in the movies. High roundhouse kicks are only for demonstration and for um, showmanship, sportsmanship, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying you can learn. You can use a high kicks in a street fight. You know how to set it up, but and if you're flexible enough. But usually 9 out of 10, mostly kung fu guys out there, basically that's what they do. They don't really kick high. I mean, some styles do require kicking high in kung fu, but kung fu people tend to see they like to kick low, um, because they are smaller. They don't want to get off balance, and that's the only reason why I think the Chinese are very effective in fighting because of their height, because they learn to manage and overcome um, the ground and the battlefields in ancient times and stuff like that, and even up to the now time, they evolved over the years into their martial arts training. So it's like only thing I can say on my opinion on Bruce Lee's thoughts on the low line kicking it, abilities for self defense. I would happen I would happen to agree with that on that statement because you know me personally, I wouldn't want to kick high because I'm a small dude. Because I don't have good balance as it is for the most part. So if I kick high, so say somebody catches my foot, then all they can do is do a foot sweep on me, then there I'll be down, and they can just go ahead and do some ground and pound on me, and there it'll be. But I'm not saying you can do high kicks in a street fight. You can. It's really hard to do. You gotta learn to set it up. That's the only thing on what I can say into low using high kicks in a street fight. Um, but if you're going to use any kicks, I would use like the oblique kick from Jeet Kune Do, the low line side kick, the low line roundhouse kick, um, the groin toe kick, um, the inverted hook kick, which basically is kind of like a weird, it's basically an inverted roundhouse kick from Taekwondo, but it's called the inverted hook kick, but it's mainly used for the groin area. So basically, just if I was going to do street fighting, if I was ever to street fight somebody, I would use low line attacks just with kicking. Now I might be able to go in with some punches, and turn around, follow up with a low kick. Then maybe go in for a high kick with my opposite leg or something like that. But I wouldn't really use the high kick too much because, it's like I said, your opponent can end up catching it and everything else, throw you off balance, sweep your leg out underneath you, and everything. And that's the same thing with aerial kicks. Aerial kicks, they tendency to not really work in a real fight. I don't care what people say out there on the internet. I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I've seen stuff that go down like that all the time. Where I'll see somebody try to do a jump roundhouse kick on somebody in a street fight. And when they land, the dude will just go up to him. And sucker punch him right in the face. And that dude that done that jump roundhouse kick on him would end up knocked out on the ground. So it's like, so do aerial kicks and high kicks work in a street fight? Just depends on how you practice them, how you set them up. But to me, I would stick with low line because, if you're a small guy, that's what I would do. Stick with a low line kicking. But, you can blend it, but, you can do high kicks for like flexibility training and stuff like that. If you're ever in a situation you might need it, to kick high, then, excuse me, then you can turn around and use that high kick as an advantage. Because if you're in a tight situation, like where, you can't really move your feet all that well and everything else, and you're like, oh crap, I don't really have enough room to do a whole lot or anything. And only thing you could throw is a roundhouse kick. Well, you can set it up with punches and then turn around and do a high kick to the head or whatever after you do the punches. Or you can do a low line kick, punches, and then high roundhouse kick to the head. So, you can mix it up, whatever you want to do, but it's just, I would stick with low line kicking, but if you don't have an area, for your feet to move, then I would say, high kicking is good, but to an extent, I would stay with the low line kicks because, this is how I see it. If you look back on the Karate Kid 3, Part 3, with Daniel Russo and Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita, and I can't remember the other actor that played Terry Silver in it. Well, when Terry Silver was teaching Daniel-san in the movie was, a man can't stand if you break his knees. So if you kick his legs, well, your opponent is going to be like getting tired in low line kicks, and he's not going to want to fight no more. So basically, Terry Silver's methods of teaching to Daniel-san, it works. So karate concepts mixed with kung fu concepts, do they work? Yes. But I would stick, like I said, with low line kicking for street fighting. Never kick high. Never do aerial kicks in a street fight. I don't care how good you are of a martial artist or whatever style you study. This is my fucking opinion on things. So if you tend to see to use aerial kicks in a street fight, then you'll be off balance and the other person will have an advantage because you lost your balance. So don't do high kicks in a street fight. Stay with the low line kicks. Because low line attacks work more than anything. A man can't stand without his knees. He can't fight without his knees to be able to move around on his leg. So if you damage his roots, you can't he'll just fall over. It's just like hitting a tree, chopping a tree down. Chop a tree down by its roots, it ain't gonna stand up anymore. So that's how you gotta think of it in Kung Fu. Making it where it's like an axe. Chopping a tree, you gotta hit the low line, do the low line attacks. So stick with the low line attacks in Kung Fu if you're practicing Kung Fu for the streets. So that's the only thing I can say about Bruce Lee's Tao Kung Fu right now. Is that on my opinion on it, what I've read about kicking, and he does make sense on it, and it's just that's just my opinion. Um, but Bruce Lee is a good martial artist in my opinion, no matter what. Um, he's the reason why I studied martial arts. So if you're doing martial arts is just an expression of a feeling of emotional content, as he would say. It could be due with anger. It could be due with expression, emotion, feelings, um, heart, mind, body, all into one. Um, that's the thing. Most people have a tendency to just do the movements without any feeling. They just work. They just train on the movements without any meaning behind it. So it's like when people do that, they ain't really doing. To me, they ain't really doing martial arts. If they're just practicing the movements, not having a meaning behind it, not having any feeling behind it. So, martial arts is about expressing oneself. So that's my opinion on expressing and philosophy and basically talking about using low line kicking in Kung Fu. And so stick with that. Hit subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit all on the bell notification, leave a comment. Let me know what book out there you want me to read on or study up on Kung Fu or whatever style there is out there. And I'll try to find it. If I can't, then I ain't gonna worry about it. So just be patient with me, and God bless you all, and have a wonderful evening, and peace.